Good morning. Thought I would show you a little bit of our routine here around Pivot Point Equine and Rider Rehab. Usually every morning we come out and we feed our own personal horses that are out in pasture. There's Lulu, good old grumpy Lulu. And then, which I've already done, it just occurred to me to film this afterwards. So our personal horses get alfalfa, a flake of alfalfa every morning, and then they get free choice grass hay. Pretty soon we'll be turning them out on pasture. Right now we've waited because we've been in a drought and the grass is just starting to come on. And then we'll come on over here and I'll show you our roping steers. Typically this is Chris's job to, he hays our regular horses, our personal horses, and then he usually feeds these roping steers right here. But he is gone to the high school rodeo with my oldest daughter, and we have inpatients. So we have a horse of our own that's on stall rest, and we have some other horses on stall rest as well. So I'll show you our routine with that. There are the geldings of our own horses. They're munching away. And then here we have our indoor facility, and where we stall all of our horses that are on stall rest. We have some nice 15 by 15 stalls that Chris and the girls built over Christmas break. So that's been good to have those. All right, here we are. And I'd like to open up the big overhead door if it isn't too windy, because it allows some fresh air in here. And as you can see, we have this handy dandy net that keeps us from getting birds in here to tear up our insulation. So Chris and I come up with that idea last summer, and it's worked pretty good. So we'll turn on some lights here. So here's our facility. We have our box stalls over there, and we have indoor riding arena, and we have rope and chutes, which most of the roping right now happens outside. And then that door right there leads to some outside runs. We aren't using those at the moment. There's no horses out there because they're gone to the rodeo. So we'll get these guys out and clean their stalls, and I'll tell you a little bit about each one of them as we get them out. Okay, here we go. And that is Addie, and let's see, Addie is the old, deaf, cranky dog that wants me to be with her every second of the day, so you'll hear her barking in the background. All right, here we have Hefe. He is our own 2-year-old gelding that had OCD surgery on Tuesday, and he is a sweetheart. And then we have Kitty, who is, she is a 3-year-old mare of a client of ours, and she came in with some swelling in the front leg and was lame, and she should go home today. She's doing really great, and she gives the best hugs. I don't know that I'm going to be able to video those hugs because she's really serious about hugging. And then down here we have Whiskey, and he is an 11-year-old gelding that is here for rear suspensory rehab. So we'll get them out of their stalls, clean their stalls, feed, all that jazz. Be back in a minute. Now we have the fun part. I wanted to show you guys the difference. Here is a messy young gelding. He poops and pees everywhere, disgusting. Like, I mean, that's horses for you, but he doesn't care where he poops and pees. And then you come over to Miss Kitty's stall, and she is the princess, and she only poops on the back side of her stall, which is so nice. And then she only pees usually in one spot, which is like right in there-ish. And so cleaning her stall is like a dream. It is the best stall cleaning ever. And then Whiskey, I know this probably sounds really stupid, but when you clean a lot of stalls, you appreciate a neat horse. And Whiskey, again, he's a gelding, and they are so messy. And I swear it is because the poop and the pee comes out of different spots on the geldings. So anyways, that's just my theory. I'm going to show you a quick barn hack that we figured out. A friend of ours shared it with us for filling slow feed hay bags. It works out great. So what you'll do, I'll show you here in a second. What you'll do to fill your slow feed hay bag is you're going to get a tub like this. This is our Equinix tubs that we get, and then when they're empty, there's really no other reason to have them. But we feed in them and everything like that, so I guess there is a reason. But so you put your slow feed hay bag in your tub, and you put the edges of it out like that, and then I'm gonna grab a couple of flakes of grass hay. So we usually do the grass hay in the slow feed hay bags, and then I do alfalfa down on the ground for them. I don't know if that's the right way or not, but that's the way we're doing it. And then you just easily bring up your netting around. I'm even doing this one-handed so I can show you guys. So, and voila! So easy peasy. You're welcome. Okay, now it's time for grain. So we have Whiskey, who has special supplements that his owner sent with us. So it's really handy that she labeled those. And then we have Hefe, our Colt, who, like I said, he's just a few days post-op, so he is on an antibiotic. And we also keep omeprazole on hand if any of them go off a feed. So if they go off a feed and they won't eat this, then I mix it with water and I put it in a syringe. And sometimes that'll happen when they come to us because this is a new place and you know, they're not in their normal surroundings. We also have here the alu spray, which is aluminum spray bandaging that we're putting on the Colt. So we'll get that stuff done this morning yet, and then we'll do our morning exam, if you'd say, of how they look for the day. And we have this trash can. It's almost empty, but this is what we feed. It's D&D Nutrition, and it is their Magnify HF, I think, high fat. And we feel like our horses look great on it, and they all seem to really eat it a lot. It is wonderful for horses that may have some allergies to wheat and corn, and so we'll get the grain divvied up and get them fed. I don't know if you've seen in our time-lapse video, but we have a hand-walking friend who kind of freaked out Miss Kitty a little bit because he ran up behind her. So sometimes hand-walking can get a little interesting. It didn't that time, but yeah. It really gets interesting with El Jefe when he gets to start that. We're not at that point yet, but yeah, he gets a little wild, so we have to be careful and make sure all the doors are shut and make sure there are no dogs in here because he's pretty energetic. So here's Miss Kitty. She likes to walk. Hey, hey, hey. See? It can get a little interesting. So, always keep the cameras rolling. Okay, so Miss Kitty is done with her morning routine, and so she's coming back in her stall. We have her water bucket is fresh, so filled up very nicely. She is anxious to eat that grain, so she doesn't want to have me interrupt her. We have alfalfa down there. I didn't fill her grass hay bag because she doesn't eat a lot of grass hay. She doesn't eat like the geldings do, and she is going home sometime today. So we'll keep an eye on it. Obviously, if she eats all of it, we'll give her some more. But there's her stall, nice and clean. We do clean stalls twice a day, so we try to keep them as clean as possible. One of the things that we normally do with Kitty is, so I usually walk her, do an ultrasound to that swollen area, and then we would do some ice or Ice 5 boots. Again, she's looking great, so I don't think she needs any of it today, and today's discharge day. So, but those are some things that we've done with her. And I would do massage. So typically I ultrasound her leg, massage it, do some stretching and some ice. She will go home on a prescribed exercise program where it's controlled, and so it include hand walking and then ridden walking and things like that. So just to give you an idea, she's at the end of her program, so we're making sure that she's going to do well without all of that care, I guess. Okay, next up is Jefe. So we're gonna take a look. We're gonna remove the tape and the devices that we had on him last night and make sure everything's looking good. He has a lot of swelling of that stifle pretty typical for a few days post-op. So we'll take those bandages off and we'll take a look at how everything's looking. Okay, so hopefully he won't kick me. Always a possibility. Rock tape that we use to hold the device in place. I'll find my ends. Get scissors. Okay, so I just peeled that off, and so there are the electrodes. You can see the stickiness is going bad, so we're gonna get some new electrodes when we put it back on him. But we'll spray his wounds and get everything cleaned up. Okay, and here's his stifle from the side. Actually, I do think it looks a little less swollen today. It is still very swollen, but we'll spray those. You can see the stitches in there. So those will come out at 10 days post-op. And then, yeah, so I think things are looking pretty good for him. And then this side has a PEMF device in place so he had OCDs in both stifles. This one we're trying to avoid surgery on. And then he also had OCD surgery on this hock. And that was about, the first part of March. And so we are about 2 months post-op on that. So that's healing really good. The x-rays look great on that. Okay, here is our wound. We're gonna do the aloe spray on it. He's not a real fan of this, so hopefully, yoo-hoo! Just try. Our goal is to not get kicked into this, obviously. So I'll come up here and do nice and easy, patting him, and then kind of get into place. And yeah, like I said, just try not to get kicked. And got pretty good coverage over both of those scope holes. Hey, hey, hey. Yeah, he's not digging that. So we have good coverage over those scope holes. And we're gonna pet him and make sure that he's good with what we're doing. Okay. So, Pepe, he's a good boy. He's 2, cooped up in a stall. And so main thing is that none of us get hurt. So we're gonna come back over to the stifle. I'm gonna put away the aloe spray, the culprit, because he is not normally like that. And we'll come back and we'll just make sure he's good with us petting him all over and doesn't get sour when it comes to things like that. Even though this does not look great, I'm gonna leave it the way it is because it is holding it right where I want it to be, and so we're not going to mess with that. If it does come off, he's in his stall and we can find it, and so I'm going to move him over and hopefully he won't get upset about me. So yeah, we want to make sure that we don't end and we put him back in this stall with him being scared of that spray. So I might actually do a little grooming on him too, just to help him calm down a little bit. If he were not limited on his movement, I'd also do some things to move his feet with behaviors, but we have to be a little careful because he's post-op, and then we just don't want to create any behaviors with him. So, yeah. So I think he's good. He just didn't really like that spray noise. So, but that's life. That's my life, I guess. All right, we'll get some brushes and brush him. Okay, now we'll take and put this pretty boy back in his stall. We'll do more therapies on him this afternoon. We do have some ice boots, and we have, like I said, the microcurrent, but we'll let that bandaging dry a little bit more before we put anything over that. So here's his stuff. And his grain, he's happy to be eating his grain. And doing a halter one-handed is tricky. Okay, and then I also wanted to show you guys, we got these little salt rocks that we have in their stalls so that they get enough salt, and it really helps them drink. So that is what Hefe's routine in the morning looks like. Okay, now we have Mr. Whiskey, and so we'll check on his little device that we had on him over the night. His sweetheart yellow, or no, Hefe, last words, Mr. Whiskey. So we'll come back here, and we'll take a look, and I'll switch the camera angle. Okay, and we're gonna take a look here at Whiskey. So yesterday when I was riding him, because he's at that point in his rehab that we can ride him, I felt like there were some issues when we trotted a little bit, and so we put one of those PEMF devices on him as well. He's a tough one though, because he doesn't have a lot of pain with tenderness to palpation over the upper suspensory. Actually, he doesn't have any pain except for up in here. He has some tenderness there, and then through his hips as well. So we've done some body work on him, which I'll show you guys this afternoon or maybe in another episode. And then I put this on him thinking if he was having any pain in that upper suspensory area, that could help with the pain. So he's had that on overnight and it looks to be intact. I have it held in place with rock tape as well. And so, so that looks good. I think we can put him back in his stall and let him eat his morning grain and hay. And if you're wondering what these orange boots are on him, these are fly boots. They're wonderful to keep him from stomping from flies a lot. We don't really have any flies yet, but the other thing I like about fly boots is sometimes they'll walk funny, so meaning they'll lift their legs up higher with the fly boots on. So I'm going to lead him away, and you guys can watch how he lifts his feet up more. So that's actually very therapeutic in itself. Gets them lifting those legs up, and then of course after they walk a little bit, they usually don't lift them up quite as high, but it is therapeutic to have those on there as well. And you don't get your stomping from the flies. So get Frisky to his stall. It's cleaner. He's got his alfalfa in there, and he's got his grass hay there, and then he's got his grain there. And fresh water over here. So I like to do buckets instead of automatic waters because that way I know exactly how much they're drinking. On an automatic water, I don't know how much they're drinking. So especially on these horses that come in and are new to us, I want to make sure they're drinking. Okay, there's our morning routine here at Pivot Point Equine. So that gives you an idea what we do as far as care for the horses and what our morning routine looks like. So hopefully you enjoyed it, and we'll keep showing you our daily life in equine rehab. Thanks for tuning in. It's all done with chores. Now we're going back up to the house, and Lulu is out sunning herself. Lulu's a grumpy pig. She's enjoying the sunshine, and we'll just leave her alone.